Investments in blockchain and crypto projects. Challenges, tools, returns.
Hi everyone. So we're here for the panel, Investments in Blockchain Projects and Crypto Projects. We're going to talk about challenges, tools, and returns. So I'm your moderator. I'm Linda Montgomery. And I think to start with, we're going to go through some quick introductions of our panel. And just to start with, I work for a company called Applicature. I'm CMO and Managing Director, and we are a venture builder and accelerator of blockchain companies. We incubate a number of our own. We work with lots of client partners, helping them do blockchain development of MVPs, of marketing, token launches, funding, and a lot of different services. So I've been in crypto for 6 years now with a number of different companies in the marketing and leading investor relations. So with that, I would like to move over to our next speaker, Yaroslav, and please introduce yourself, and we'll go down the line.
Okay, thanks a lot. Hi everyone, I'm Yaroslav. I'm a serial entrepreneur and I've been investing into crypto since 2017, I guess. And through those investments and my entrepreneurial background, I found out that many projects do fail because they lack, like some kind of product expertise, business development. They cannot focus on the product 100% and need to spend founders usually spend up to 60-70% of their time trying to raise funds. So that's why I founded the venture studio. Now it's focused on blockchain projects, NFT, actually Web3. And what we do, we actually act as co-founders for these products. We help them build the product. We finance them on the early stages from our own fund, and also help them raise funds from the external investors as soon as they're mature. That's it. Thanks.
Yeah.
All right. Good morning, everybody. My name's Imran, and I'm from Tiny Trader, just over there. We're a software as a service, white label crypto exchange solution, and we offer a bit of a different perspective on investments in blockchain. The idea is that our clients come to us, and for a nominal fee, we set them up with a fully functioning exchange, product and all, including technical support, and leave basically only marketing to them. The idea is that through that and through cashing in on liquidity of this platform, people can make some pretty substantial returns. But our investment method is liquidity only, so we don't invest in people's products. We give them the product, and we invest using liquidity into that. And so far, the returns have been pretty spectacular.
Hi guys, my name is Lukas, and my experience is quite similar to Yaroslav. I'm an entrepreneur and also an investor right now. We created a DeFi project on the Terra last year. Yep. And at the moment, a few months ago, we created an organization called 100X Partners, where we invest in early stage products, also mainly focused on the DeFi sector. And investing into early stage startups and also acting as kind of co-founders, being with the people every single day, with the co-founders, and helping them in every single step.
I'm Christof, Waton. I'm the founder CEO of Acta Finance. Back in 2017, specific for this, I will stay on topic for this. Back in 2017, I started a investment community where we invested 8 million in 6 months' time. Still doing some of those tokens distributions, after that I was a CBDO at a centralized liquidity framework for 3.5 years, where I was also consulting with launchpads and the startups and all the investment tools.
Okay, Adrian.
Good morning, everybody. By the way, I'm for the first time in Canada, so please don't make fun of me. Always there is a first. I'm Adrian Niculescu. I'm a serial entrepreneur and investor. I'm a Romanian serial entrepreneur and investor. I'm in blockchain since 2016, and I do, and I will do everything I can to be a contributor in this industry, so to help the ecosystem advance. I'm involved in a few projects. I'm CMO for CloudCoin Consortium. It's a role for 5 years. I'm also CEO of Meta Studio. which is the business metaverse for content creator. I also list especially venture capital-backed coins and tokens on exchanges, especially on La Token, and I'm advisor and investor in a portfolio of projects. Very happy to be here. Thank you very much for spending your most precious research time with us.
Great, thank you guys. So let's jump right in and talk about fundraising. Let's talk about some of the challenges, I guess, that founders normally face. And I guess from our panel here, you probably have the perspective of founder and probably also of investor as well. So why don't we talk about that? Lukas, let's start with you.
Sure. Could you please repeat the question?
Some of the challenges that founders normally have. So, and then if you have any examples of your own, it'd be...
Actually, I do have. So some of the companies that we advise right now and we help, they're actually very tech-oriented, right? And they have a great technology. They have a great product, but they don't know how to sell it. They don't know how to market the product, and they don't know whom to contact, like how to find partners and so on. And we're actually helping them, but that's one of the problems that I see, right? A lot of tech people, they just don't have this marketing knowledge, and they cannot find the product market fit, right? And that's the issue that I see. That's issue number one. And the issue number two would be probably the conditions that we're currently in. I see that now funds tend to do less investments than before. Now big funds, they're still doing high investments, but some smaller funds are really now aware of the market conditions, which is also not quite nice and kind of difficult for the builders. But I think it will just go better within this year.
Yeah, excellent, thanks. And what about your company and exchange? How about, what do you see?
As a software as a service project, we come across a lot of people that don't already have a business. They're trying to break into the cryptocurrency industry. And actually, what we see is the opposite of what you're seeing. Many people who have very good marketing backgrounds, but zero technical expertise. And they want to break into this, but they don't know Solidity, they don't understand system architecture, they might not even know what blockchain means. But they want to make money in the space. That's reasonable. Yeah. We let them tap into that marketing background. We let them use that because that's what they're good at, and hand them all of the technical stuff on a platter. Yeah. And that tends to work because the last thing we want is another scam crypto product making the rest of us look bad. Yeah. So handing people something that just works and then allowing them to market around that is usually a good option. Yeah. And it helps new founders enter the space.
Okay. And, anyone else want to jump in? Adrian?
I can jump in to present 2 points of view. First, from the founder's perspectives, and second one from the investor's perspective. So founders usually struggle with defining the ideal investor persona they need, because on LinkedIn you can find dozens of lists with hundreds of early stage investors in products, in projects, in coins, in tokens, but for every project I believe maybe 10% from such a list could be a little bit of a fit. So just knocking on a lot of doors with the same message will not work, because for the investors it's important what's in it for them. They want a return on investment. And this is a big challenge. The second one, most of the technical founders, they don't want to learn sales and marketing. And even if you have a team, even if you work with an agency, you still need to upgrade your background a little bit. And I always advise founders to do that. Of course, they say, no, we don't want to hear that. But if I cooperate with somebody, they don't have to expect to tell them exactly what they want to hear, right? You need to do that or not. This is a learning curve. From the investor's perspective, it's a big challenge to understand which projects worth to put your efforts, your money, and if you're providing smart money, the mentoring, access to market, and everything. And for example, what I'm looking at, I'm looking especially at the struggling teams. Teams which are working like crazy for a few years maybe on a project. They don't give up, they are persistent, these are the first people I like to work with, because everybody can do a fly-by-night project, you know, the next copycat thing, but this will not advance the market and will just potentially add things we don't want to see, like scams, rug pulls, people just doing it for a little buck, you know, which could be okay for them, but in time will devaluate our propositions about this market.
Right.
Of course, I can speak for 3 days, so I don't want to,
Awesome.
to cannibalize the panel.
Okay. So moving on, how about you, Yaroslav?
To add to this, I mean, I think you guys have covered everything totally. Just to add a small thing here is that I think currently it's very important for the product to start talking to the investors when they have something. I mean, like at least a pilot, not just an idea, because the market is full of ideas and white papers, and like we will build some spaceships soon. So the talks are much easier when you have something to show, any code, any prototype, and the team that is capable of building that. That is super important, because as we know, investors don't give money to the projects, they give money to the people.
How true.
I would say from
maybe we'll add something else into the mix here. We're going to talk about sentiment, market sentiment right now, and how that's impacting. So would love to hear from you on that as well.
I think with the market sentiment itself, like the amounts of ticket value is going a lot lower now, so it's a lot tougher to do the fundraising. However, it's all about having a trust relation with your investors or potential investors. Know what you talk about and talk business. You know, you can do the small talks like whatever what, but when you need to talk business, and you just need to talk about the sweet spots. You know, like in a meeting where a potential investor, you get to know pretty quickly, or you need to filter out very quickly what specifically are they interested in, and then make sure that you overload them and have them along in the storytelling. Now, I think, however, to come back to the point for 1 second, like one of the biggest toughest things to do for a founder CEO is right now fitting the cap table. You know, getting in the investments, that's fine. But like putting those last pieces together to make it fit, where you need to start capping all other investment tickets to make sure that things fit. That I think from a founder's perspective, that's definitely the toughest point. It's a very stressful point. And then once the investment rounds are done, it's like such a stress, and you can focus on the business instead of talking to all the investors all over and over.
Right. Okay. Carrying on with, I guess, market sentiment and raising money right now.
I can add a bit on that, on the sentiment.
What are you seeing, and what advice do you have, I guess?
I don't feel anything has changed. We have just raised another fund to finance the projects within our venture studio, and we actually raised more than we were expecting. I mean, the investors are becoming more selective, and I would say like stupid money now keep away from the market for some time until everyone is again seeing the bull market. And okay, like we all know those X something venture fund that just follows the bull market and follows the bigger investors. But if we talk about smart money that have come to crypto for a long time, they don't stop. They keep investing, and nothing has changed.
Awesome. All right. Anyone else on market sentiment that we haven't covered yet?
That's very true. You know, that investors are a bit more selective in the bear market. That's very correct. But that's how it should be. And I think now people, in this current conditions, people focus more on the product. And for example, what we do in 100x Partners, we really focus on the technical part first. And for example, we don't invest, and we don't even consider working with somebody that doesn't have a fairly good technical background, or that doesn't have a product or some kind of an MVP, right? Because let's say we don't believe raising just an idea on the white paper. We really want to see something already developed, because it shows the commitment of the team.
Right. What about sources of funding? What advice would you have for founders? I mean, there's different categories of investors. Like which, who should you go after at what point in your funding journey, I guess, and how are we seeing that change, like 2022 versus what you saw in 2021?
I would say the investment itself changed. You know, it's not about the money we don't care about the money anymore. It's about like what other services do you bring to the table. It's all about smart money, smart investments. Like for example, for every project it's going to be different, you know, like who are they going to allow in that cap table, because you need to be very selective. It's like you can work with content creators, KOLs, influencers, people like that, and you just need to have like a strategy up front where they have a piece of the pie, and that's why you can't give them too much of a ticket, because you need to evaluate like their audience, their activity, and how much content will they share for you, and based on that, the more that they do for you, the higher of an investment allocation. I use like the reference like towards like a cleaning lady, and even though like all respects to cleaning ladies, you know, but it's like a cleaning lady comes to pay you to clean your house. So that's how I see it with like the smart money, you know. You got content creators, you got marketing agencies, like for example in Asia, to target the Asian market, you need to do Asian marketing and in their language, and you need to know specifically where you're gonna list your stuff. So that's why we're working together with those where they invest in your project, so they have the skin in the game. And this is not really something what we saw in 2018. I think in 2018 it was all about the money, and it was just a quick money, you know, and it was a quick flip. Where right now, together with the sentiment, it's with the partners are 100% in line. They say, don't list now. Whatever you do, just don't. Go slow with the fundraising, go slow with the listing, you got time. When you look at the community side, it's like, when IDO, when can we invest, when can we invest? It's like they're really trigger happy, and that is something that with the sentiment of the market, they feel like, oh, it's a waste of, it's a lost opportunity because the market is going down. Well, let's be honest about it. The best projects out there, they started in a bear market, and then when the bull run happened, they did the biggest multiplier.
Right. Yeah. Any other comments?
Yeah, I totally agree with your point, actually. It can be cleaning men, not only cleaning lady, right? Yeah. It's the same, but I totally get your point. And I actually want to add one point. I don't think that every single startup that is looking for funding has to go the standard way, that first, okay, let's fill in the seed round with some value-adding venture capital companies. For example, we are helping to raise money for D-Hotels. It's a decentralized platform for hotels. And we actually focus on the community. We focus on the public, people who are going to work with the hotels, right? Yeah. So we, for example, we don't need venture capital money. We would like, you know, community, really people to invest in the project. And I think that's also a fair way to raise funds. You really have to see who's your audience in the end, and that's how it should be.
Just a small point to add. I completely agree with that. A few projects that we're like developing right now, incubating, we just don't even plan to raise money from any venture investors or any funds right now. So they're building the product. They build a community around that. If there is a good product and if the community loves it, they will actually fund your early stages easily. If you have a good product and a good team, it's easy to get like 500K, 1 mil from the community. That's not a problem. And then you go and receive grants and some support funds from the blockchains you're building on, and that's the amount enough to develop a product, to release an MVP, and then you can go raise the like Series A or something like that. In crypto, it's of course the amount is lower, but your valuation at that point is much higher than when you just come on the early stage. That's I think that many projects that are not B2B should really look into.
Okay, and what about IDOs, IEOs, launching a token? Like, how do you look at that I guess, when you're looking at, you know, all of your sources of funding, I guess, do you look at it that way? What's your views on that?
I would like to add to this question, if possible. So the classical ICO evolved a lot. And I'm a sales, marketing, and business development guy, so I look at things from this perspective. People have low attention spans, so that's why nowadays, sometimes when we have like IDO, IEO, they are done in stages and from different types of investors, and are done over a certain period of time. And you have more creative ways today to fundraise. Basically, will be like two questions in one: the previous and this question. I will answer too. So you can launch an NFT collection. You can do pre-sale. You can do a round for early investors. After that, you can go to a platform, to an IDO platform, a launchpad, so to raise funds from investors which are a little richer than the retail investors, and after that to launch on an exchange. So it's a sequence. It's like the funnel from the marketing just entered into this world. You know? So it's like a small blueprint in 3, 4, 5, or 6 stages.
Right. Anyone else can comment on that? IDOs, IEOs?
I believe, just a short ad, I believe we will see the evolution where the projects don't sell their token at all. And they either raise funds through NFTs or some other sources, and then they distribute the token within their product for the users, for the usage, for fiat payments, whatever. But no ideas, because we all see that problem that it's pump and dump. Okay, early investors go and dump the token, it never recovers. And that's something that a lot of bright minds are thinking on how to avoid. And we do see now a lot of new structures of the tokenomics where token is not sold at all.
Right. Interesting. So now let's talk a little bit about the future. So
it is bright.
It is bright. That's what I want to get is, that's a good answer. The future for blockchain projects, the future in terms of being able to raise funding. When you guys look in your crystal ball, what are you seeing and what advice would you give founders?
To wrap it up, I think we're at the very beginning of the major cycle, and we're super early, and that's why we should build a solid, fundamental pillar on which we can develop great products, because money will come in bigger amounts. That's it.
Yeah.
Listen, everybody here is still a pioneer of a burgeoning tech. It is extremely, extremely early days, as you said. There are 600 exchanges in the world and plenty more people that haven't discovered this technology yet. You can be the next one. That's all I want to say. For a nominal fee, little investment, 1 week, you can be the next one.
Yeah.
Sure. And I think it's also very important, we live in an informational age. It's very easy to find information on the internet. We can check the founders. We can see what they did in the past and so on. And I think that's very important. Do the due diligence before you invest in something, and you'll be good, right? Invest in value instead of the hype. That's what I want to say.
Be multi-chain agnostic. I mean, be able to tap into multiple audiences. They're like, I always use the example of Cardano. Cardano, they're just wholly to Cardano. When you ask the Cardano people to use MetaMask, they don't know what MetaMask is. So be multi-chain agnostic to make sure that you tap into multiple ecosystems and multiple networks. Their audience have the support of the network, so the marketing and the branding and the trust within that network will definitely help.
Okay, Adrian?
One very important lesson I've learned during the crisis in 2008 was that the quantity of money available in the market is not changing. It's just redistributed. And when we are asking about how do we see the future, the answer should be what we are doing towards building this future, because everyone in this room, by working, by being here, by involving, we have a stake in the future, So it really depends on what we are doing right now. If we decide not to do anything, we'll just wait and see, and we'll complain that the economy is like this and like that. It's a rare chance in our generation, actually, to be part of something very big and to contribute in building it.
Great. We have time for one more question. Kind of on the future side, I guess, is just the tools that we use to evaluate companies. And, are we getting more mature in terms of those kind of tools for evaluating or managing investments? Are we taking from traditional finance into crypto? And
Sure. And what I love about the tools that appeared, I love the all the new tools that allow everyone to become a small syndicate or an investment club or whatever. It's like people, I know a lot of people like that. They have like, you know, a dozen of friends, and they set up that wallet as a syndicate, and they put like 10,000 each, and then the smartest of those starts investing into something. And I think this is syndicated retail investment is a great future for Web3 investment and this community support.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, excellent. Well, I'm afraid we've run out of time, but thank you, panelists, for a great conversation. Thank you for listening to us, and enjoy the rest of the conference.